音是在这儿。And the stream, we are already on stream, right? 可以吗？你再往前做一点 ，OK 吗？好像要。呼呼，这样，再往后一点。会，Yeah, good. Hello. Okay, nice. Okay.
你录啊，我不录啊。
哦，好。Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Close. Moderation helps to see who can participate. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Emily and Summer hosting Thai China. With cross-cultural studying and working experience, but both born in Shanghai, we have seen lots of information asymmetry from international sources and local perspectives. This brought us the idea of opening this podcast to show the real China to audience who are interested in this topic.
The program will be released bi-weekly to present the fresh China through Chinese popular topics, brands, and high-attention events. If you would like to know this country from a local voice, please enjoy it. In our podcast profile, we have an email address for any open remarks or suggestions. Feel free to reach out to us.
Yes, as how the last episode goes, we started with this YouTube channel live to test a bit on how it works at the same time as like we recording the podcast, but we also recording the video. So that's why you can actually check the TIE account, which is the name is spelled as TIEXYOUNG,
Taiyang.
Thai X Yang.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the podcast is the sub channel related to this brand. And altogether, we are actually doing a lot of other stuff that is relevant to the China cases and also relevant to student empowerment. So if you would like to know more, just let us know, and we can see how we can support or how we can link you with more China community. So today we are going to talk about this week's buzzy phenomena game that just released, which is the Black Myth Wukong. And both of us are not game players. We are. But this one is very special because it's the very first like masterpiece of game that created by Chinese and also being even very phenomenal among people who are not playing the game. So we will start with just Summer being kind of out of the loop for the whole week, while I have some friends who are already playing it, and also I'm quite obsessed with the story itself, and that has been on the internet with on the social media to browse all the information already.
Yeah.
So starting with Summer asking me some questions related with our bubble teas.
Yeah, actually, I just saw this very popular topics on Weibo that I know that a lot of young people are playing this game, or I also saw a lot of stars promote or KOLs promote this game. But actually, because I'm not the game player, so still have no idea what happened suddenly that this game is suddenly very popular or boom.
First of all, I think it's not really suddenly because within the game industry, because maybe 5 or 4 years ago, the whole team has already released some trailers related to this game. And every time when there's a big game expo thing, they will set up the booth and try to do the trailer, and there will be a long queue, which is queuing up just for trying the game. So I think within the game industry, this is already some kind of new games people are expecting for long. Just the reality part is once it's released, just 20th of August, which is Monday, the whole real game experience that's the one that blowing people's mind, because everyone thought they might not be able to like achieve this level of perfection or this level of game experience.
What kind of experience or expectation?
I would say previously, because there's no track record, that actually it's a Chinese team creating the whole storytelling, creating the whole like piece, right? It's always we known as the game manufacturer as well. We have things like the 王者荣耀, King's Glory or something, like the mobile games that we are very strong at. But at the same time, for all the top games that in the world that are very popular, there is nothing created by Chinese. So people's expectation will be, okay, I see the trailer, it's very refined, it's very well made. I don't know if it will be like 2D version versus the trailer, because that's something as the track record Chinese games has. And also the other side is because the story itself is about Wukong. It's about the journey to the West, which is one of the four one of the famous masterpieces of literature in Chinese. We have been familiar with the story for since very young time. And for Western people, they actually might be known. The thing is about Goku.
I think Wukong, this character is also famous in Western countries.
Yeah, but they know it because the Dragon Ball. That's why the name for them is Goku, not really Wukong. So Goku, Goku, I think that's the
Goku.
That's the Japanese style of how yes.
Like,
So that's why it's actually domestically it's a wave of patriotism suddenly boomed alongside with the game release. And the other side is in the Western, people actually got impressed by how well made this one is.
Yeah. So from your answer, generate a series of questions actually. First, I also would like to ask, what's the difficulties or challenges for Chinese team to create this kind of game? Why you think that Chinese team cannot make it?
I think first of all, it's a very big investment. For Ubisoft, for other big companies, what the other one, 暴雪, I don't know
Storm?
I don't know the English name. And anyway, in Chinese, it's 暴雪. It's another game company. The game development usually separate into different tracks, right? There are very big games like this, which requires a lot of investments that maybe a big company like Tencent, they will invest in those games.
They will buy the IP.
Yeah, right now that's how they do it. And it's actually very difficult for them to invest for 5 years for this kind of development. And there are the mobile games track, right? It's very small, light, fast to get revenue. But it's not long lasting, or usually people don't just play short term and then they change to another game. So that means the development pace or even the difficulty is totally different. And then it comes to the indie game track, which Wukong actually falls into this track. Indie game means independently develop the games. So this meaning the team, they devote time, they contribute the money, they try to fundraise. Tencent actually invested in them, but with the development effort they put into it, it's still very difficult. Because if you see the effect or you see the whole storytelling within the game, because every character they have a story. Within every scene, there's so many things that you can develop based on the real scenery from Shanxi or from some local Buddhism temples.
But actually, the story of this game is not follow the novel.
No.
Totally different.
It's based on the novel, but and all the characters are relevant, but it's a new story developed. So it's more like it's like a big cinema movie. The production of it, you require all the visual or the story editor or the creation of different characters' journey, why they, and after the journey to the West, what happens to Wukong, what happens to you as the player, and how you are interacting with each characters.
Okay, this is very interesting and attractive. So then I also would like to ask, because this game now is very popular globally, and I realized that they just publish in
right now. I think on the 4th day of their release, the number of purchase is already reaching 10万, 10万. It's 10 million sets. And also a bit updates of how the China market is working. The PS5, where the game is hosted right now, it's already sold out in the China region. It's basically it's a very big surge to the whole industry, and because Xbox and the other platforms, they haven't been able to host it as previously said. They said there's some compatible problem or what, so part of the player has not yet be on the game yet. And another comparison is there's a very successful game recently called Elderly Ring, 老头环 they call. So 二灯法环 the name. So that one is right now the revenue for the global sales is not revenue, it's the set is over 23 million. So within 4 days, they are already almost half of that number.
Okay, then based on this different game or two games you mentioned, the user of these two games, for example, like for Wukong, this game, the main users are Chinese. I mean, Chinese globally, or
I don't know the proportion within that 10 million, but definitely Chinese users will be the dominant one, because I think we are more, one is the patriotism, the other side is we are more familiar with the story itself, right? For us, it's a culture immersion alongside with the game experience, but for foreigners, it will be mainly just okay, there's a new game, let me try it. That kind of feeling, and then there might be some growth based on some game players live streaming or play feedbacks, and then people will get more. I think that's how it works.
So this is something that we can also see if any possibility that we can create a game or make this game to be a real globally game with you.
What I see from Xiaohongshu right now is actually people in the West, if they are really into the game, they are already starting to trace back to the novel, which is The Journey to the West. So it's a story, I think, known for every Chinese, because it's our childhood memory. Every summertime we will the TV series will be played again and again on the channels, and it's our summertimes just killing time kind of drama, right? And also because it's one of the most famous for literature masterpiece, we are required to read some of the chapters or even read the whole book during our elementary school or middle school time.
So when we were young, maybe we just regard this novel as just a novel or TV series or entertainment things. But when you grow up and you have more experiences, and also you analyze or study or do research more about this novel, you can see the Chinese philosophy in this book, how people deal with difficulties, how Chinese people communicate with others, those kind of very social things.
Because the story is actually related to a Buddhism master who follows the guide from the god and going through 81 different challenges and from his journey to the West and eventually get the real essence of Buddhism through the journey. And alongside the journey, every challenges are related to different meeting different people, tackling different issues, bumping into some of the difficulties related to people, right? Or related to different ghosts, or related to different groups of bad people. And then within the journey, following the master, it's actually a group activity of journey. Is Wukong is the biggest, how to say it, 徒弟, apprentice. Yes, the Wukong is the first apprentice, and also there are two other guys. One is actually another character in the game.
Okay,
in the game, yes, and basically 3 guys following a master.
4, and then the horse.
Yeah, and together with a horse.
And the horse also kind of people.
Yes, yes, and then also because the whole story, the back end, you have the whole god system of China that's supporting the whole. Like they are the backstage, right? They are the one playing everyone and placing everything in the place.
Yeah. So actually, just maybe during the whole story of 西游记 in Chinese, the team, we call the team, the whole team experienced 81 difficulties. But actually, from this kind of small story, each character had its position.
Yeah.
It's like, from a very mini or micro perspectives, maybe just as a company, then each one maybe is someone, someone for the god, maybe the big boss.
Yes.
Yeah, and for the difficulty, maybe a counterpart or something. Then you can see the reaction or the feedback from Wukong, how they deal with these kind of things.
Think about this part is actually we know teamwork basically from this story, right? Because the assumption for most Chinese teenagers is teamwork is difficult to work out.
Yeah.
Because of this kind of story is they are quarreling in every episode.
Yeah. I think this is a very good template or lesson for people to understand the Chinese 关系 of relationship.
Oh yeah, yes.
How to deal with relationship.
But speaking of this, is I feel like if someone right now, they can start with an episode or a live stream on YouTube just to read through everyone.
To analyze. Actually, in China, we have a lot of bloggers. They've already have different perspectives to analyze 西游记, which I think very deserve to watch those kind of videos because it's really good. It's not just a novel; it's a kind of philosophy or.
But I heard from one of the podcasts, which is called Jadio, GADIO, is actually one of the biggest game related platform, and for followers, there's a lot of followers on their platform. When they were talking about like how the back-end story is working and how the foreigners are learning the whole system related, it's actually very difficult for them because first of all, that's quite surprising to me, is the translation version of Journey to the West. Usually the common version is only chapter 1 to chapter 50. Not really covering the latter stories. And for us, it's a whole story, although it's not finished. But eventually there are a more like comprehensive ones. That's for one. And the other is because each character, they have developed a lot of methodologies that is more localized, right? You have this Journey to the West, and then there are some stories that created by maybe a region of people or by a local storyteller, and they develop to other stories. And also for us, because there are so many different versions of Wukong.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
So it's very confusing. Although one of the drama created in 1980s, that one is the monopoly, and that one is the most authoritative one. But still, there are so many versions that we have been watching. Which means if the Western people, they want to really search the relevant stories, it's very
not
difficult.
easy, right?
Yeah, and also even within the game, the people, the podcast says when they were trying the game, because in our Chinese characters or in the name of those characters, one person can have different names. For example, 二郎神
Yeah.
meaning
杨
杨
姐
姐 meaning someone's uncle meaning the god of what, right?
Yeah, someone's brother.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for them to like link everything with everything. Also, even if you click into the character, they have the English version of translation. Although the translation team is actually already doing a great job, but still they only mention maybe one or two names. It won't be the full list of how the methodology evolves.
But actually, I think it's similar like when we read Bible, right? Also a lot of names that it's not easy for you to understand the relationship between
that's
them.
true. And also I think that's back to your question is I think Westerners most of the case they only follow how the game is well developed, how the game is well designed, because the culture one is definitely something more takes longer time to explore or takes longer time to understand. But there's one very interesting kind of cultural elements I want to bring up is there are already criticisms from Western world.
Okay.
I don't know how it's actually how impactful is that in the Western world, but because in the Chinese social media it's already a big thing. People basically copy what in the foreign social media and says that something the foreigners are saying and we are not agreeing with that and we are mocking with that. And one thing is actually about diversity. So because when you enter into the game, especially for the few chapters in the very beginning, there's no female characters at all.
菩萨
No,
菩萨 is also 没有 sorry.
No, Pusa is non-sexual, right? It's basically there's no female characters, so they are saying there's no diversity in the story.
Even those kind of monsters like 蜘蛛精
Yeah, later on they came up. So for the first one, especially for the trailer or the kind of the test video coming out, it's very like biased. So what we are replying back, which I think is quite hilarious, is Wukong is actually born from a stone, which means it's a minority group. and he's good friends with black-skinned bull.
黑牛啊
牛魔王.
牛魔王
Yeah, there's actually one special chapter around their story. 牛魔王 and his wife, and also
his wife is female.
Yes, and also the kid. So because it's a blackface bull, so
oh my god,
they are he's supportive of the minority, or he's supportive of different skin colors at the same time. And the monkey is not really with any sexual bias. That's why he's also a representative of LGBT community. I mean, and also he's basically following the Buddhism. That's why he's also a vegetarian. He protecting his group of small monkey or the monkeys on the Huaguoshan to be preventing them from the goddess or from different gods, meaning he's a animal protection activist.
Okay, animal protection, very interesting angle.
And he's very longing for freedom. When he's meeting female, he's always just calling them female Buddha. So it's very respectful. 女菩萨.
But Buddha actually is there are no sex. It's actually Buddha. There are no.
Basically, he's very respectable for women.
Well, why we call it? Because in the TV series, the actress of this Buddha is a female. So in our memory, maybe those
but
Buddha
actually they are not with any sexual bias. And also the other side is if they are facing those challenges, one of the biggest challenges actually in 女儿国, the kingdom of daughters or the kingdom of female, and within that kingdom, actually everything is female dominant, and male are only used as tool, right? It's super feminist kind of setup. And
interesting.
And also, what the other stuff? Yeah, basically everything is politically correct.
I mean, if you use the Western system to adapt to this kind of environment, it seems that are reasonable if they just
yes, and
full complain on that.
I think that's the main argument here. Is this is a very good example of us not really following the Western kind of terms of everything, because even within the game, the illustration of what's a long in China is not a dragon in Western. We have our own dragon. The dragon is not the evil representative. Instead, they are the representative that brings longevity, brings good luck, and bring all the good things. So all these difference, I think it's very difficult to actually elaborate or describe if it's not with some visual illustration.
Yeah. I think that I understand that from the Western side, they have a lot of this kind of feeling or something like that, or they consider or think about this kind of game from this perspective. Because for example, from Chinese perspective, from Eastern perspective, definitely we will also use our culture to think about Western things. But I mean, if you want to judge something, or if you want to really deep understanding one product, definitely you should, from the original places to understand why the story like this.
Yeah, but also I think these years really represents the pride of our own culture. Is emerging comparing to the previous, because previously we also watch Goku. We also like them, but at the same time, people will start to reflect that why those things are copied or like more broadcast by foreigners instead of our own people. That's why I think the Wukong is really getting to be the phenomena game, and also I see this as a very good sign for young people to actually getting more attention in the new industries, because game industry definitely is not something that's appreciated by our parents' age.
Yeah.
But this success itself actually says a lot. And also within the game, because there's so many beautiful things, including a lot of museum.
Well, it's a real thing.
Yeah, everything's real. The Shanxi Museum or the Shanxi Tourism Agency, Tourism Bureau on Xiaohongshu, they are already posting out like where those ghosts are coming from, where that room's facade, the whole decoration of the Buddha wall, where it is. So they are already creating actually a tourism kind of route related to that. So all these things are actually quite hidden previously. So that's why I think in this year, it's really about a surge in the culture, and also people tracing back to appreciate those traditional things.
And I think now we are pay more attention to export Chinese cultures, which we didn't spend a lot of time in doing this. And I think for this game, maybe it's also a very good benchmark or kind of product that, if you establish some common sense, or you can discuss with foreigners on the same page, then it's easier for you to explain to them why Chinese people's logic is like this, how Chinese people think about things, and why the story like this. You cannot use the stories from like Ming Dynasty to understand or adapt to the current social environment.
Even for local Chinese, sometimes it's difficult to understand, right? Although we are always at the stage, or the young people right now, they are really into traditional cultures, but actually they are not going deeper. it's very surface level, kind of following the trend. Things like hanfu, things like 马面裙, all those different dresses young girls are wearing. You can see a lot right now in Nanjing or in Chengdu, in Xi'an, in those like city center area, which has those antique buildings that people are taking a lot of pictures. But among those, how many people are actually learning the traditions?
You are right. Yeah, but I think that it's also another thing maybe we can think about, maybe the barrier between Chinese and the Western culture is language. We discussed a lot of things and we will speak it in Chinese. Actually, I think everything in China, no matter it's a kind of Western things or Eastern things, we have two systems, like Chinese and English, totally different. Maybe in some countries, when they get some things abroad, they will use the pronunciation or how to say them in a kind of Eastern way. But in China, definitely we will have a Chinese way to pronounce or discuss. So
or even just translate it into a literature level instead of just direct translation.
Yeah, so sometimes when we discuss some topics with foreigners, a little bit, because all these kind of nouns, names are two different systems. So I think that maybe for this part, we can also think about if it's a kind of Chinese story or Chinese culture, when we translate in English, definitely we just use PE.
Yeah.
Then it's easier for people from different countries.
It should be a special term instead of that we translate just catering to the Western side, especially for the traditional literature thing. Things like Wukong, the name itself, it's only actually just the pronunciation right, of the Chinese character.
Yeah.
But actually in China, in Chinese mind, Wukong, when you see the Chinese character, it can actually also meaning something very meaningful in the Buddhism kind of context. It's about you meditate until you feel empathy, something like that, right? And also every other characters in the journey to the West, they also have similar meanings. I think the piggy character is Wu Jing or Wu
Neng too. The pig is Wu
Jing, and then the piggy character is kind of meditation, or you need to think through, and then you go to the direction of being purified, something like that. And it's only a very simple level or very superficial level from me understanding these words, and each character actually can be developed to be more meaningful if you are really studying Buddhism, right? So and also if you are really studying the traditional Chinese, that will be representing more meanings as well. But for most of the Chinese, to my level, is the standards. But I think it's very difficult for foreigners if they are not really into Chinese culture to understand.
I think the tricky part is, in some Chinese novel, definitely we will have different methodology to describe one sense. For example, like Wukong is a monkey, but actually monkey is just the image of this character. But maybe if you don't understand Chinese culture, you will just judge from a monkey perspective.
Yes.
Right.
And also one thing related to monkey is, at least from Chinese social media, what I read is there are comments from Western people saying the monkey's character's voice is super weird because it's a very kind of squeaky or very high-pitched voice, which is not really as a very heroic character. But that's another difference, that more in Chinese eyes, it's
original voice. It's original voice of this monkey.
The drama's character has been in our mind for so many years, and that's how they perform. That's how they represent the monkey. And also for most of the game experts in China, what they are really happy this time is, okay, every time there's a very big, very good kind of game released, right? It's always us as
the one adapted to
Yes,
for Eastern environment.
that's always the outside perspective.
Yeah.
We need to learn the language. We need to learn the culture.
Yeah.
And this time, finally, there's one game that actually we can be the most immersive group. And things also another part is about the appreciation of the culture. Again, is what I'm referring to is like the Assassin's Creed, 刺客信条. Right? They duplicated a lot of real sceneries of real world, and that's also something that this game is doing as well. And people really appreciated that. That's why it can lead to the culture visit.
Yeah, because of this game, I found a very beautiful place, Cook Island. So I've been there to see the real thing. I think a game can influence a lot.
Yes.
So sometimes people just see the negative part of game for kids or young people, but as an adult or as a kind of cultural communication perspective, I think that game could be a very good thing too.
We have so many things that we can develop already, based on every literature, based on every history books that we read, or even based on some very local stories, just from one region or from one minority group. Right? All these things might be developed into a single game or a single kind of experience. That's definitely the future. Just I think every milestone needs some kind of
we are also
check.
Happy to see that a lot of Chinese companies or young people, they're starting to do this kind of thing, like the series of movies like 哪吒、白蛇、二郎神, or this kind of movies. They also tell the world that the Chinese story of those kind of Asian novels. So I think let's see what kind of happens. I also look forward to seeing that the game could be a kind of real global game.
That's true. Okay, that's it for today.
Have a nice day.
See you.
Bye-bye.
还有一个可以